my mind, but pretty good. So that it also explains why we have the two bowls here, but for this chili, we're working out of the bigger bottom bowl. So first off, cutting up some bell pepper here. That went into both. They have some core common ingredients, but I love bell pepper, so I put that in a ton of things that I make. Alright, now we're gonna go ahead and dice them all for easier bite-sized chunks. So I actually made more of this chili. I thought this one might be, a safer bet for a good chili. And the other one I did a smaller experimental batch. I can't actually remember why I put that glass in the middle. Maybe I was thinking of just throwing seeds and random things I cut off in there. But I don't think I actually ended up using that at all. And I cut out some of the bits for things that were unique to the other recipe, like we already have some like green onions or something up there. Don't worry about that. We're working out of the bottom bowl. Alright, a second kind of bell pepper here. They all taste the same though. Just add a bit more color to things. Alright, let's cut up this red pepper, same as the first one. Some people, their chili, they just eat, I don't know, they just like it to be all meat, but I think it needs these extra, beans and veggies and stuff. If chili is just meat, then it doesn't make sense to have chili con carne. That would just be meat with meat. Some jalapenos. If you want to add some heat, then crushed red pepper are always a solid choice to give a little kick without doing anything too crazy. Yeah, if you don't want the seeds, the seeds add a lot of heat, but cutting them that way, I found is super convenient for avoiding all the seeds instead of trying to, cut it into little spirals and then de-seed it then, or, cut into it a little bit and then try and de-seed it. So, obviously, if you are going for a ton of heat, you're going to leave in more seeds than I am here, but I was going for pretty spicy, but not over the top spicy, so that my wife would still enjoy it. And I feel like in a chili competition, unless you're intentionally going for hottest chili or something, you're not going to want to make it the hottest chili, because not everyone likes a super hot chili, and may just avoid it entirely if that's your selling point. So if you're going for the popular vote or best overall, you want a little kick to it, but not anything that's gonna scare people off. So that's mainly what I did with my other chili. This one, I go a little bit spicier. I considered there. I was like, should I put a little of the seeds in? But for this experimental batch, I wanted to get a gauge for how spicy it would be. And I think ultimately it could have been a little bit spicier. And yeah, I just eat part of the jalapeno there. It's not too spicy. So I think it could have used a little bit of seeds in there. But I'll let I do it. I go back for those seeds. That has some more of like the oils and stuff in it. It has a fair bit of jalapenos, but it's making a pretty big batch, so you make it as spicy as you want. If you're making your own chili, then you can do your own thing. I don't think habaneros have that many peppers to begin with, or seeds to begin with. So I think I leave more of those in. And habaneros have a nice flavor because they don't just come at you with an overbearing heat. They kind of lure you in with a sweetness first. So they have a good flavor beyond just being hot. So I don't cook with habaneros super often, but I do like their flavor. And I've had, I think the Carolina Reaper has kind of a similar flavor profile where it has that sweetness up front. Make sure after you cut up hot peppers that you wash your hands for sure, and be careful not to get ingredients that are right in the name. We have our chorizo. So I'm gonna cook that down. And I actually try to cook it down a lot and drain the fat, and then I put it on like a baking sheet with some paper towels on it to absorb more of the grease, because it is a fattier meat. So I think, I don't know, I defatted it quite a bit. I think it lost some of its flavor. So if you want more of a chorizo kick, maybe, I don't know, don't drain it as much as I did. But, I'm trying to be health conscious and everything, so I like to make healthy food that I don't feel bad about after eating. So, I drained it a bit, and it was still good, so. But that is just one note that I had. If you want it to be more chorizo, probably don't have to, drain it as much as I did. But we just got these sizzling down for a bit. Just trying to break it down into smaller pieces. I've had this video waiting to edit for quite a while. I made this recipe at the beginning of this year, before things got crazy. But it was just a throwback because I've gotten rid of that pan that I'm using right there since the surface got a little bit scratched up from something. So, rest in peace, pan. Alright, we're getting there. Just make sure there's no pink in it, and that things are nice, chili, bite-sized chunks to mix in with everything else. Just give it some stirs to make sure everything's cooking evenly. Yeah, I usually buy like leaner meats that you don't have to worry about draining as much, because not much comes out of them. But this one, I did have to drain and rinse out the pan afterwards. Makes a nice cooking sizzle though. Alright, and that's looking pretty good now. So I pop those out and put it on a pan too, to drain a bit more and defat. Moving on here to all our veggies that we cooked up. So, as I learned from, mainly from this recipe and making these chilies, this is actually kind of a dangerous stage. I wouldn't recommend cooking spicy peppers like this, like habaneros and jalapenos. Now I try to throw them in with the meats that I'm cooking instead, because by themselves they kind of cook and they release just the air, and it makes, if you are cooking multiple big batches of chili like I was, kind of makes it a little pepper spray like in the air. So I would say if you're gonna skillet spicy peppers like that, try to put them with things that will cut it a little bit, you know. There we go, we got our peppers sizzled down, or sizzled up. Either direction, that's up to you. But this chili also has some beef. So we're going to mix that up into it. Probably would have been better to have the jalapenos going right with the meat, like I said, but you can see all the spicy vapors coming off. Same deal, we're going to want to mix everything up, make sure it cooks properly and evenly, and break up those big chunks, which becomes easier as it cooks. Are looking good. Also, already has some interesting color to it. You got those greens and yellows and oranges. Could probably let it sit and cook for a bit, but I like to keep it moving so nothing gets stuck or burned. Looks like a tasty base to any meal already. Recording this in the morning, it's making me hungry. Things are looking a better texture here. Just a little bit more to cook out that pink, and we will be in business. Things off here. Put some tomato paste right in. I think adding it here was also to cut some of those spicy vapors. I think probably normally I would, I don't know, maybe just add it at the end. But that's another way to combat that issue. Just get that evenly mixed in. Kind of subduing the other colors a little as well, so just take that into account when gauging how spicy you want your chili to be. Because you're going to need to, estimate it, how it's going to be at the end. And now we're at the assembly stage. Get some crushed tomatoes in there, some black beans, some kidney beans, now we got our meat and veggie mixture going in, our beef and veggie mixture. I think I had this like cooking on like low and slow is the best way to cook with your crock pot. So I might have done like 6 hours on low or something for this first batch. But my winning batch I did like overnight for like 8 or 10 hours or something. Here's that chorizo, and there's that draining strategy I told you about. And here we got a beer going in. Chilies go well with beer, or vice versa. We got a little bit of beef broth in there. Got some kind of like cornstarch, corn flour for thickening. Some like chili seasonings. Not really spicy, but just chili seasoning. A bit of brown sugar, just to, if you want it extra spicy, you don't need to do that step. But if you're afraid of it being too spicy, this will help cut it a little bit as well. I think looking back, it probably didn't need the brown sugar, but after the spicy